In this day and age, everyone needs a helping hand. What's the best way to do this? By giving back. And nowhere is that more prevalent than right here in Saskatchewan, where you can find thousands of people volunteering their time with great organizations. Hello and welcome to another edition of Max Magazine. I'm your host, Brad Grass, and today's episode is all about volunteers. That's one of the great things about living right here in this beautiful province of Saskatchewan. We lead the nation in our volunteers. Army of volunteers, good people, always looking to help out, which is why we're here today at the Regina Food Bank with Todd McCauley, who is the Marketing and Special Events Manager. Thanks a lot for letting us be here today.
Thank you.
So the Regina Food Bank, been operating for decades. As many food banks, there's a definite need. A skeleton crew that basically keeps the lights going, but the Regina Food Bank relies heavily on volunteers.
Definitely. Volunteers are the lifeblood of the food bank, as they are many food banks. As you said, we have a very small staff, probably about 20 plus, and the day-to-day operations couldn't actually go on without our volunteers. We sometimes match the number of staff members that we have during the week with our volunteers each day.
On any given day, when volunteers come in and they want to help out here at the Regina Food Bank, what are some of the things that a volunteer might do?
The main areas that we have is, well, we're in one right now, it's the sorting room. This is where actually all the food that is donated is separated into these barrels and crates that you see around us. So when it comes time to actually assemble and distribute the hampers that we give out to the public, it's much easier for the volunteers, again, to make sure that the hampers are filled exactly with what the families need.
Well, it sounds like a good idea. As long as we're here, why don't we help out the volunteers, and we'll start sorting some items here. And while we're doing that, why don't you check out these hardworking volunteers donating their time.
From TCU Place in Saskatoon, please welcome to our stage, Jason Blaine.
Telemiracle was the brainchild of a couple of gentlemen in the Saskatoon Kinsman Club. 1976, they were looking for a way to raise money for people with disabilities. At that time, telethons were fairly popular, so they got in touch with a few folks, and within a couple of years, something gelled, and all of a sudden, Telemiracle 1 was February 1977. My three favorite parts of Telemiracle are the beginning, the middle, and the end. The beginning, it's so full of anticipation. The building before the show starts, it vibrates with people being excited.
As we get closer to the show, the excitement starts to build. You can tell the intensity is going up. Stand by to the opening video. 3, 2, 1. The video's in. And for me, this never gets old. I've been doing this for a long, long time, and I still get really excited about it. Yes, from the top, everybody ready? Cue me out of the next tape that's coming up here. I'll need 30-second cue, 20-second cue, and count me down from 10.
Ladies and gentlemen, Beverly Mahood and Bob McGrath.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to 39. Unbelievable. Great job to Jason Blaine on our opening song. Big hand for Jason Blaine one more time.
When showtime comes, we've got all sorts of folks that make contributions. Cameramen, for example, are absolutely crucial to getting the show on the air. And those folks are all volunteers.
And what I'm very honored with is to find out for the first time, I remember going back and seeing what I call the Telemiracle machine. That's the volunteers. Behind the phone banks, there's like literally hundreds of people back there. And then you go downstairs, hundreds of people downstairs. And you're looking at all of them organizing everything, and it's a finely tuned machine.
I am just always thinking about the people of Saskatchewan and just what they do for each other. They are, I know this is a province, but it's a community. It's people helping people, they're friends, and there's no egos. I mean, it's just volunteers, people just giving out of the goodness out of their heart and wanting to help each other.
To hear the story of a gentleman that was in a scooter, and he had explained to me, do you know what it's like to lose your independence? And I said, no. And he said, it's not good. He said, there's times, he said, when I would have to lay in the bed and my wife would have to come and help me out of bed, get me dressed. I can't even go down the hallway to get a cup of coffee. He says, but because of this scooter, he looked at me and smiled and he says, now I can do those things.
I mean, when you look at it, everybody's a volunteer. When you go into the schools and for 5 days, their goal was to raise $1,000, but they raised $5,000? Like, are you kidding me? It's infectious. You want to be around that.
You get a guy like Bob McGrath that's come 38 years, Beverly Mahood and Brad Johnner. This will be their 18th year. So we've got some folks that are heavily committed in all sorts of ways, in front of the camera, behind the camera, and at the camera.
For those of you who've just joined us here, we'd like to welcome you to 20 marvelous, wonderful hours. 20 hours of the Telemiracle. And we call it the Telemiracle because we think a lot of miracles are going to happen in the next 20 hours. The only way they're going to happen is if you give us your love and keep those phones going. Okay? Good. Young and beautiful, well, someday your looks will be gone.
This show was on Telemiracle that night, 1977. And I'll never forget sitting back and watching it. And I can remember the people as they come out, as they introduced them, and to finish off with Blake Emmons. And I remember Blake Emmons looking at the camera and said, we are not the stars of this show. The real star of this show is coming out right now. And they brought out the little girl in the wheelchair, and he knelt down and he talked to her and he said, this is what we're doing, and we're doing this for you.
And ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to meet the real star of Telemiracle 77, Miss Jody Zabishko. Hi, Jody.
Hi, I'm Jody, and I'm really happy to be here because tonight the kinsmen and their friends are going to ask you to make miracles happen.
One of the magical moments for me, and still every time he comes on that stage again, is meeting Ray Nealand, because what he does and what he gives back. So his first time coming across that stage, there's that cowboy, and I think he's in love with me. I'm not sure, but I think he is, because he calls me his second wife. But hearing his stories and his aw shucksness, and just that he's a down-to-earth person and gives everything that he has back to Telemiracle, he makes me laugh. He makes me just want to hug him, but he makes me cry as well for the kindness that he has in his heart.
9:05 to 4:55 on the Sunday afternoon. There's so much happening, there's so many people, and it's just awe and inspiring to have so many people that can come out and do what they do in the greatest organized chaos I've ever seen.
First time I'll never forget, Telemiracle 33, going down and seeing literally over 1,000 people that have volunteered their time, that have drove in, that have given, they've given so much to help and to make this, and it was so successful.
The end of the show is just a culmination of all sorts of effort, excitement, enthusiasm, and frankly, relief.
Favorite part of Telemiracle for me is when we are singing "O Canada," and it's the grand finale, and the balloons are coming down, and realizing that now we can just take a deep breath, look behind, and everyone on that stage can be proud of what we just did. And we're all part of it.
Well, there's a lot of excitement around raising money and giving and what the total is at the end of the show. But the real impact is what happens with that money after the show. So we have hundreds of people that apply every year for things like medical travel, making sure you got enough gas money to get to Edmonton for your baby's heart surgery, a scooter so that you can get around if you've got some mobility issues, tubs in seniors' homes so people can have a little bit of personal care. So that's the real impact of Telemiracle, is the gifts that are given because of the gifts that are given.
The minute I saw that first kid wheel their wheelbarrow across that stage with the pennies, and they were given, you know, they didn't want birthday presents, they just wanted to give all the money back to Telemiracle because they wanted to help another kid, that was it for me. You know, at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when you're delirious, it's like, I gotta help these people. And it just becomes a part of you. I mean, if I wasn't here, I don't know where else I'd be. I'd feel like there was something missing.
From the bottom of my heart, I'm very proud to be from Saskatchewan. I was born and raised here, and I thank all of you in Saskatchewan for keep doing what you're doing. Much love to all of you.
Since we've been working away here at the Regina Food Bank, there is a buzz of activity happening all around us. There must be quite a number of hours that volunteers put in here.
Oh, definitely. Last year alone, we had about 3,800 individuals volunteering their time. The hours that they put in totaled over 17,000 hours.
Wow. It's a lot of manpower. But again, unfortunately, that need, those hours, seem to grow and grow each year.
The need is always there. So, I mean, the more people that can help us out, the better, and that's every other charitable organization here in Saskatchewan.
That brings up a good point, because there might be someone watching today who, again, Saskatchewan, well known for our army of volunteers. Definitely. Could be someone watching today who's thinking, you know what, I've never had a chance to help out at the Regina Food Bank, and I'd like to. How can they do that?
They can give us a call at 306-791-6533, extension 227, or email our volunteer coordinator, Lori Williams, at loriw@reginafoodbank.ca.
Okay, so please call that number or send them an email if you want to give back and help out this army of volunteers here at the food bank. Giving back just like these good folks are.
I heard about the Big Brothers and Big Sisters on an ad that was run on television, and I was watching it that one night. And as a result of that, I was in a mall shortly after that, and I heard a little guy talking about he didn't know what his dad looked like, and he was, you know, longing to see what his dad even looked like. And that is what prompted me to check on Big Brothers and Big Sisters to see if I could join that.
A lot of people have heard the name Big Brothers Big Sisters, and they know that we match kids with mentors. But what they don't know is we have a variety of programs, and we do it in a number of different ways. So we have 6 different programs that we run out of our agency, and it's to provide a mentor to kids, and that definition is you know, wide across the board, but it's to provide that friendship and support for a child that needs it. So it's our vision that every child that needs a mentor has a mentor. I don't think I've ever heard a story of a long-term match that doesn't have a story about how they were benefited and were impacted by being matched with a child. So it really is two-way, and there's just countless stories about how the volunteers have benefited.
The rewards are so tremendous that I receive back from it, really. You know, to be able to watch a young lad grow up and before he's even 16, and you let him drive your truck and then watch him make power turns out in the field, you know, like and doing harvest time. Those are just little things. Now, they were funny, you know, but it's the normal pattern of life that I saw.
If there's a little bit of nervousness in the beginning, that usually subsides over time because they realize it's just a matter of getting together and hanging out. It doesn't matter what it is that you do, it's the support and the friendship that you're providing, not so much the activity.
When Robbie and I, we were matched in Big and Little Brothers, the first 6 months were very difficult because it goes to trusting one another, and we have to earn that. I had to earn Robbie's trust, and Robbie had to earn mine. And when I was interviewed to become a Big Brother, that is one of the things that they really stressed. It's going to take a long time for you two to adjust to one another. And that actually happened at the end of 6 months. I picked Robbie up from his home, and when he came out and the way he jumped into my truck that night, he threw his arms around me, and I knew that I'd gained his trust finally, and certainly I had gained his. And it was just awesome, the emotional feelings really that come out of that, and that's where it's been ever since.
So if we didn't have volunteers that are willing to give back, and to give back in the way of mentorship, we wouldn't have a program. So it's so vital and important. And one of the things that's really nice about the community we live in is people are really giving and people are willing to give back.
I lucked out with Cassie. She is a very outgoing person, so I had no trouble kind of making a connection with her, and I actually hit it off right off the bat. Throughout our 3.5 years, we spend lots of time doing fun activities together that both of us enjoy, and I know I'm an important person in her life, whereas she is in mine. It's a little bit of time in each of my weeks that makes a huge, huge difference with her.
That was a great day, wasn't it? Yeah, we went mini golfing. That was fun.
We should go mini golfing again.
Who won again?
Probably me.
Of course you would say that.
I still have that Scrabble game on my iPad that I was winning at, that we need to finish next time we're at my house.
Hey, you were losing at the beginning.
When was I losing?
At the beginning, and then I started getting really
I had a
bad
really,
letters.
really good word though, remember?
Yeah,
It
that was like that's
90
what made
points
you
or
get it,
something.
like 90. Well, that was not 90. It was like.
There's a quote that says, be the change you want to see in the world. And I view that quote and I use it in my life that you don't have to be the Prime Minister, you don't have to be the mayor, you don't have to be anyone big or important or famous to make little changes in your life that kind of snowball into a big change. And to me, what I do with Cassie and the way we spend our time together and being a positive role model, I make that change that in my life, it's a change and it's an even bigger change I know in her life, that's my snowball effect to give it back.
No! You got it in my
I got it good.
Some of the organizations that have been involved with Big and Little Brothers in order to help the Big Brother along, of course, were the hospitality that we received, not only from business places, but also the city itself was always accommodating for us too.
The Snooker Shack has been in the community for over 25 years now, and its owner, Alan Turk, has been really generous in the community, and Big Brothers Big Sisters is one of the organizations that he specifically wanted to be generous with. So there's been lots of occasions where groups of Big Brothers and Big Sisters have come in and played pool for a couple hours and had snacks and made some memories that way, but he also provides a discount to any big or little that wants to come in and play pool as part of their match.
It's probably one of the greatest organizations that I know of.
The Big Brothers Big Sisters organization has undoubtedly made me feel appreciated in my little's life, whether it be my caseworker calling to let me know what a great conversation she had with me, or just talking to my little and her inviting me to her grade 8 graduation. It makes me really feel like I've made an impact in her life, which was the whole reason I signed up for the program.
We still go out for coffee, lunches, camping, you name it. We're still doing the same thing that we did 31 years ago.
volunteering your time and giving back feels so good. It's a win-win for everybody.
Mark Riffle is a friend of the foundation, and as well, he was a Wish recipient back in the mid-90s. His wish was to pimp out his car. So to put that in normal terms, he got a paint job, and I believe he got a new audio system for inside his car. Anyway, so Mark has over the years been very supportive of the Children's Wish Foundation and other children receiving wishes, and he's done that a number of ways. So in the beginning, he would walk in usually every Christmas, and he would write a check and make a donation to help Wish It Forward for other children. And then that sort of transformed into participating with our Exile Island, which is a corporate challenge event that began about 6 years ago. And in about year 4 and 5, Mark became involved with his company, BN Metals. And so he got together a group of about 10 people from his work. I think he secured some friends and family as well. And they committed to making a donation of $10,000. And I believe the 2 years that he did that, they donated more than $10,000 each year, probably upwards of 15. And so that team was called Weebescrappen. So he's in the recycling industry for metal, and so Weebescrappen is kind of a neat name. And so he committed to participating in Exile, bringing on his friends and family. And then after that experience, he thought, is there anything else that I could do with the Children's Wish Foundation? And so we presented the opportunity of being title sponsor of our annual Swing and a Wish golf tournament. And lo and behold, Mark said yes.
Well, I know him as my employer, my boss, and he's a great guy to work for, generous to the community, to charities and fundraisers and things like that. An all-around good person.
Mark Riffle has demonstrated to us time and again, how giving back to the community and giving back to the organization that allowed him a moment of reprieve, how that can be impactful so many years later. And we are just so grateful that Mark continues to reach out to us, and we are here and love to just work with Mark on any of his ideas, and as well, he's so receptive to ours.
I spent a lot of time over the past few years contemplating what I had gone through and the impact that Children's Wish Foundation had on me. So, in hopes, I guess, of really paying it forward, I started working with the Children's Wish Foundation a little over 10 years ago. I'm in a unique position where I was granted a wish growing up, and lucky enough to be one of the survivors, and have really wanted to work with the Children's Wish Foundation.
There was a huge portion of our employees all together doing it, and we get together before and after, and we did a steak night. So yeah, it brought us all together for more than just a Christmas party or an annual barbecue kind of thing. It was something where we were all able to give back and do it as a team.
Mark actually serves as a number of role models here at Children's Wish, not just for other Wish children, but also for other donors, other volunteers, and certainly his story has modeled many different opportunities for people to become involved. So whenever we have something new going on at Children's Wish, or we have an idea, Mark is one of the first people that we will contact and sort of spin that idea off of, or ask for his input.
What I think is most important is the involvement of my good friends and family and co-workers who've been here to help me work with great charities like the Children's Wish Foundation.
So Mark really serves as a role model in so many ways, and we are so grateful that he is a part of our culture here in our community.
Well, once again, before we say goodbye, I just want to remind the folks at home, if you're going to donate to the Regina Food Bank, non-perishable food item, and always a good choice, baby food, right? Always in high demand.
Very.
Yeah. Well, again, Todd, I want to thank you so much for letting us be here today.
Thank you.
We learned a lot. Hopefully, we get some more volunteers through the door to help out. In the meantime, we'll see you next time on the next edition of Max Magazine.
If you have program ideas that you'd like to see on Max TV Local On Demand, write us at max.local@sasktel.com. Max TV programming is now available on Max TV on the Go at maxtvonthego.sasktel.com.